Hey everyone, today we'll be talking about the company Amazon and its valuation summary. It's the behemoth that's disrupting every industry and every company. A quick disclaimer. This is for information and entertainment purposes only. Please do your own due diligence. You are watching Clone Compounding, where our mission is to learn from others with the goal to achieve financial independence. In this video, we'll be covering a quick overview of the company Amazon. We'll also be looking at a snapshot from super investors with Amazon in their portfolio as of end of Q1 2022. And then the main part, we will be looking at the valuation and analysis from various YouTubers. So let's get going. A quick overview of Amazon's core businesses. Amazon segments its business into three main areas: North America, International, and Amazon Web Services. North America and International segments cover their retail business, but also their advertising and subscription businesses. And Amazon Web Service is, of course, their cloud business. This is the crown jewel of Amazon. Business, Amazon does both first party, which means Amazon buying and selling on its own, and third party, which means allowing different merchants to sell on the Amazon platform. North America is the largest segment by revenue. Amazon Web Services is the cloud business that is massively successful, growing at pace, and is expected to grow for years to come due to tailwind for digital transformation. As you can see, nearly all of Amazon's operating income actually comes from AWS. Another thing to remember is that in June, Amazon stock will get a 20-to-1 split, likely giving a boost to its stock price. Now let's have a look at its recent financial performance. You can see that the revenue over the 3-year period has grown quite nicely. You see that the operating income has also trended upwards, and the net income particularly has almost doubled over the last 3 years. If we look at the free cash flow, we can see that this is trending downwards, and this is largely because Amazon is investing large amounts of money back into its business. Over the last 2 years, it has invested roughly around $120 billion back into business. That is a huge amount of money. Now let's have a look at some of the super investors and how Amazon is held in their portfolios. You can see the snapshot of super investors that hold Amazon as of end Q1 2022. As of last quarter, Amazon was 4th most owned company by super investors, right after Meta, Google, and Microsoft. It was also a top 4th company that was most bought in Q1 2022. And some of the super investors that actually have Amazon in their portfolio is, of course, Bill Miller, and you'll be surprised, Warren Buffett. Let's have a look at some recent changes in the super investors portfolio with regards to Amazon. And what you can see is that there has been a lot more buying than selling over the last 2 quarters at least. All right, let's have a quick look at Amazon's share price currently. And what you can see is that over the last 2 quarters, the share price has dropped by more than 25%. And actually, there has been quite some pullback in the recent weeks, particularly in the last week, which has actually made this picture a bit more positive. Otherwise, the drop was closer to 30%, probably more than 30%. So with Amazon being this much down, is it a good time to buy Amazon? All right, let's have a look at valuation summary for Amazon from various sources. First, let me state that all credit goes to original creators for doing the analysis and putting it out there. I'm just compiling this information in one place for comparison and reflection purposes. Here you see some sources and their view on Amazon's valuation. The market cap estimates by these sources lies between 0.5 trillion to 4 trillion overall. A detailed sheet with all the sources and links will be available in the description below. Now let's move on to this specific analysis. First up is Daniel from Unrivaled Investing. We love Daniel and his work, so kudos to him. Daniel has put out 2 recent videos on Amazon in the last 6 months, one in February and one in April. We will cover a quick summary from both these videos. From the February video are: first, retail business, which has traditionally been a black box, is now opening up, and Amazon is starting to share some more insights into the revenue numbers, particularly advertising and subscription revenue numbers, which has really helped investors understand it better. Amazon Web Services might be worth anywhere between 1 to 2 trillion US dollars in 5 years. The core retail business likely only represents 20 to 30% of the long-term value of Amazon, and the advertising and the third-party seller businesses, both of which are fairly high margins, are probably worth a lot. In terms of valuation, Daniel's analysis suggests a low case between 3,800 US dollars to a high case of 7,800 US dollars. That translates to anywhere between 2 trillion to 4 trillion in market cap. It is important to remember that the stock price at the time of the analysis was about 3,100 US dollars. Daniel's verdict is that the fair price for this business is somewhere between $3,000 to $4,000, so it's not really a multi-bagger from his. In the April video, Daniel revisits his Amazon valuation, and the key points that he covers is: first, a review of the Q1 2022 earnings. He also makes a point that to value Amazon, it's very important to understand the margins for the different businesses in Amazon, and this is the trickiest part of valuing Amazon. The margins are not very clear or are not easy to predict and estimate in the future. In any case, he revisits his valuation, and the low case comes out to be somewhere in the range of 2,600 US dollars and a high case in the range of 4,700 US dollars. So from his perspective, is not a deep value play. Alright, next up is Sven Carlin. He put out a video in February doing Amazon's valuation and reflecting on Amazon stock. His key points were: first of all, price earning ratio is not the best way to value Amazon, because Amazon doesn't really show a lot of earnings, and for a long time actually, the earnings weren't really a way to assess the business. Significant investments have been made in the last 1 to 2 years, which makes it cash flow negative. Amazon Web Services is rolling out lots of new services, and it's definitely on a growth track. And he also talks about Morningstar estimate of roughly 14 to 15% CAGR for revenue for over 5 years, and a margin expansion from 5% to 8% over 5 years. In terms of valuation, Sven's low case is somewhere in the range of 1,600 US dollars to the high case, which is somewhere in the range of 4,500 US dollars. The stock price at the time of analysis was somewhere around $3,000. From his perspective, overall, there is too much growth risk involved with Amazon. Can Amazon actually grow 3 to 4 times? Alright, next up is Cameron from Rational Investing with Cameron. Cameron put out a video in January of this year analyzing the Amazon stock. Well, he covers a 30-year view of Amazon financials. That's just wow. He covers Amazon from the moment of his IPO till last year or last quarter. He also talks about the crash of Amazon stock in the dot-com crisis, and that it took 8 to 9 years for the stock price to recover from this crash. His analysis sort of predicts that in 2030, the EBITDA prediction is somewhere in the range of 185 billion US dollars. In terms of valuation, I have classified his analysis more towards the high case side, because he projects a stock price to be somewhere in the range of 7,000 US dollars in 2030, which will translate to a market cap of 3.5 trillion. The stock price at the time of analysis was 3,200. From his perspective, it's good value and he would be a buyer at this price, although anything high, he would not be interested. Alright, next up is the team from Everything Money. They put out a video in February and also in March analyzing Amazon stock. Some of the key points that they talk about in their video is mainly around their 8-pillar strategy and the fact that Amazon fails actually on multiple pillars. In terms of valuation, their analysis suggests a low case of, I would say quite low, 850 US dollars a share and a high case of somewhere around $2,500 a share. The stock price at the time of their analysis was $3,200. From their perspective overall, it's not a good price and they would not be an investor at this price point. Alright, next up is Professor Aswath Damodaran. He put out a video in February where he reviewed the FANG-M stocks, and in that he talks about Amazon as well. His overall reflections are that there's strong revenue and there are some labor welfare concerns from a regulation perspective, and his Feb 2022 narrative is that Amazon is a disruption platform that rolls on, allowing for continued growth and improving margins. We know Professor Damodaran does quite a detailed analysis from a valuation perspective, and his low case is somewhere in the range of 2,300 US dollars and a high case of roughly 4,300 US dollars. The stock price at the time of his analysis was $3,200. So from his perspective, it is undervalued and he would be a buyer at this price. We must remember that the stock price has come down drastically from the 3,200 range to somewhere around 2,400-500 range. Alright, last up is my own views about Amazon's valuation, and here is a very high level back of the envelope valuation for Amazon. In my mental model, I would value the retail business somewhere at half times 0.5 price to sales, and the cloud business somewhere around 10 times price to sales. And so if I look at the projected revenue for the retail business over the next 5 years, at a 10% CAGR, that would be somewhere in the range of $650 billion. And for the cloud business, if we use 25% CAGR for over the next 5 years, revenue would be somewhere in the range of $180 billion. And this would give a valuation of around $2.1 trillion market cap, or roughly 4,000 US dollars from a stock price perspective. Of course, today the stock price is somewhere in the range of 2,400 to 2,500. I would be a buyer of this company at somewhere around 2,000 US dollars. Don't forget to press the like button and subscribe for more such videos. Thanks and see you next time.